involving the WWE Performance Center down in Florida. We've learned in the last 24 hours through various sources that there has been a believed outbreak of COVID-19. Now, it's worth noting at this time, we don't know how serious it is. Testing is being done. Testing has been done throughout the WWE ranks in different bubbles that they have through Raw, SmackDown, with talent, with their crews as well. And this report is up now at WrestleZone.com, originally broken here by Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, saying the spread happened this past Friday at an in-house event. So to get performers their reps and prepare themselves for future performances. Meltzer reports that some of the people affected were mandated to a 2-week quarantine period and were scheduled for WWE NXT Halloween Havoc. Quote, aspects of the show that are going to air tonight, October 28th, are going to have to be changed. One source in WWE said that nobody that is in an NXT television regular role has tested positive. Meltzer also writes that live fans will still be present for the NXT tapings. Quote, fans were scheduled to be tested for COVID-19 in Winter Park, Florida, Tuesday night. And if they passed, they would be allowed to attend the tapings, which is the normal weekly procedure. It's worth noting those fans limited and are tested every single week at the Capitol Wrestling Center set that you see on USA Network. And so it's also additional reporting coming from John Alba with the Living the Gimmick podcast. He says that they've provided another report in which he states WWE NXT Halloween Havoc attendees who have tested negative for COVID-19 have been permitted. These fans will be allowed into the designated pods at the Capitol Wrestling Center tonight. COVID-19 still continues to influence NXT and WWE, both on screen and behind the scenes. WrestleZone will continue to follow this story as it becomes available, as the information becomes available. Also, additional facts coming in now from Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful on his Select service. The NXT regulars both hold in-house live events and track the progression of NXT talent. That is where this believed outbreak occurred, possibly. Reportedly, many, if not all those in the attendance of the event were asked to quarantine. So it doesn't know how many fans were actually in attendance, how many staff were involved in that show. So apparently this in-house event may have just featured NXT talent that are not currently featured on television at the time. So just by circumstance and keeping people separate, WWE was able to do that. So that's part of the benefit of the bubble mentality. I don't think it's worth, outside of the story itself, worth critiquing WWE. This is the space we live in. This is going on across all different sports leagues, all different entertainment shows. Movie sets have been shut down for the same thing. And WWE trying to mitigate as much as they can. Now, obviously, how does this affect Halloween Havoc? A very, very big show for WWE and their continued rivalry and brand battle on Wednesday nights with AEW. We'll find out more about that as it develops and as the night goes on. Certainly, if there's any changes to the card, we'll know about them. We'll have them for you on WrestleZone. Also, if you're with us live here on Facebook or YouTube, join us for the live post show that will be on shortly after both AEW and NXT go off on air. I see some regulars with us in the chat. If you're with us for the first time, don't be afraid to jump into the conversation. Get your comments on screen. Let us know how you guys are feeling about the news here. People asking, is NXT on the WWE Network tonight? No, it'll be on USA Network because it's aired already. Airs on the WWE Network on Thursdays. So that is where things stand currently with WWE. And hopefully everyone there is safe, including the cast and crew, everyone involved. And hoping you are safe where you are as COVID numbers are getting alarming and scary yet again, as they've continued to be for most of 2020. We also have some other unfortunate news and WrestleZone to report. The legendary Tracy Smothers has passed away at the age of 58. Tracy had been pretty public about his health issues recently. He had been battling lymphoma, and then additionally in the recent weeks had been public about different heart issues and hernia issues that have been affecting him. Tracy Smothers had a long and storied career in professional wrestling, wrestled for a bit in WCW, with the tag team there, the Young Pistols tag team and the Southern Guns. WWE noting in a tweet, they are saddened to learn the passing of Tracy Smothers. WWE extends its condolences to the Smothers family and friends. There's been an outpouring of responses from Impact Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling as well, the NWA, Sports Illustrated, Taz noting that very sad to learn about Tracy Smothers passing away. He was a great wrestler and an even better person. He was always cutting up and busting chops in the locker room. Just a fun, talented dude, always smiling. A spectacular wrestling career everywhere you could imagine over the years. Wrestling into his 50s, by the way. Had a great reputation. People loved working with him. Seeing a tweet here from Dave Prazak as well. Dave Prazak, a figure in independent wrestling in the Midwest, got to work with Tracy Smothers over the years, saying, Tracy Smothers helped teach me so many of us in pro wrestling during the past 20 plus years, especially young talent in independent shows, to whom he owed nothing but gave so much. A sad case. CM Punk tweeting out, fresh from a shower, covered in soap, barely holding a towel to his body, he fought police dogs during a riot in ECW. He was one of a kind, the wild-eyed Southern boy, and he left his mark on the wrestling business. I love Tracy Smothers. Rest in power, Tracy. Watch the cheese. I don't know what the cheese reference is, but maybe something they know about it. Edge tweeting out here, Tracy Smothers took 2 young kids from Canada trying to tour the southern United States with $1.50 a day to spend on food. Saw a dilemma. We put ourselves in to try and get experience. He took us under his wing. He knew what we wanted. Because of that, because of that and his huge heart. Some great comments there as well. Ricky Morton tweeting out, my great friend Tracy Smothers has passed. It is with a heavy heart that I share the news. Lots of great times with Tracy. I just spoke with him last week. Rest in peace, my friend. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of Tracy's family and loved ones at this time. Ricky Morton. Some great comments from across the world of wrestling. You can see them now over at WrestleZone. Sami Zayn, Mick Foley, and many, many are chiming in. I highly suggest you fire up the W Network, search Tracy Smothers, see some of his fun stuff with ECW when he was a part of the Full-Blooded Italians. Yes, a good old Southern boy in the Full-Blooded Italians. It was always fun. And seek out interviews with him. He was a guy who had a ton of stories going up and down the roads and told some amazing, amazing stories of his time in wrestling and the different people he worked with. Sad news. We're talking about this COVID story in WWE that's developing, and hopefully it settles down and they can quarantine and trace it as much as possible. But seeing this other unfortunate story, Tracy Smothers, a tough day in wrestling news, but we're getting through it, and we do have some fun wrestling to look forward to tonight with AEW and NXT. Reminder, we'll be live after both those shows at shortly after 9 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Always jumping the gun there with different facts here. Hopefully you don't mind me stumbling over my words. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like the video, give it a thumbs up on the Facebook or the YouTube. And if you're with us on Facebook, like our page, follow our page. So then you get the notifications. You know exactly when we go live. And then over on YouTube, like our page, subscribe to it, turn those notifications on, ding, with the bell. And remember, when watching wrestling, the most important thing about wrestling is to enjoy wrestling.